questions. So, hi everyone, I'm Linda. I'm an ambassador at Power to Fly, and officially you are with me on my last event for this time here at Power to Fly. So I'm very, very happy to have all of you here. It's my, let's say, unofficial goodbye, because who knows, I might come back for some other hot events. And today I have the honor to host Patricia, which I met early, I think it was April time.
Yeah.
Every time we had a call, like April time. And the first impression that she made to me was this passion that she had about talking about women that not represented in industry. And I felt related because we are like mainly pursue like we do a lot of operation stuff, we do a lot of administrative things, but what about like tech industry? And I really want to see like Patricia's perspective in that system and how that works against us as women. So at this point, Patricia, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience of Power to Fly?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Linda. I'm delighted here to be with all of you, talking about a theme that for me is the convergence about, like Linda mentioned, of two very important things in my life. One is tech, and the other one is diversity and inclusion. So first of all, I really want to clarify that I don't bring here the magic bullet. I respect you so much as an audience that we know, there is not one thing that is going to solve it. But what I hope today is I will share my journey. I also will share my aha moment where I realized that it was not only about me, there were more things, there was more complexity to our experience as a woman, as women, at least, part of my identity, and also some strategies as well as tactics that help me to remain sane. And what I hope is that some of them will be useful for you now, or maybe who knows in the future. Okay, so with that, I'm going to share the presentation. Okay, so if you can tell me, Linda, if you are able to see my slides. Okay, perfect. So as I mentioned, I work in tech. I'm head of scientific support and customer operations for a large engineering and scientific software company. I'm also a non-native English speaker. I've lived in 6 different countries in 3 continents. So that has really given me a perspective of the importance of diversity and inclusion. And as well, that even if it is important, a lot of times it's not given the importance it has. So that's the reason why since 2016, I've been involved in spearheading several initiatives to foster diversity and inclusion in the workplace with special emphasis in gender. Through these initiatives, we have successfully lobbied for an improvement in the maternity leave in UK, an improvement in the paternity leave in the Netherlands, and also recently with other diversity and inclusion champions in UK, working for companies such as Accenture, IBM, Microsoft, and Siemens. We continue to learn from each other the challenges as well as best practices. And this work was recognized last year with the 2020 Women in Tech Changemakers Awards. On the side, I've also had my personal website about diversity and inclusion. And so what I'm talking to you here, when I started as a chemical engineer and then through in my PhD, I engaged working with really tech and scientific software. Everything presented to me very rosy. You just have to work hard. You need to be a little bit assertive, and you can have it all. A great life, flexibility, a nice salary, and just go to the top. However, the reality was more like this, really. So I kept saying, why, if I see these photos and these amazing success stories, I really feel like the woman in the photo. So what I realized actually is that there was a huge gap between the tech ideal worker and user and myself. I was kind of a colorful unicorn. So the first thing was to try to fix myself. Because of course, if I didn't fit with the environment, it should be something I can fix on myself to just be better somehow. So I talked to so many women, to men, read articles, watched videos, and everything was telling me, Patricia, you just have to take ownership of your career. That's what you need to do. So I started, I took leadership courses, negotiation techniques, try to get sponsors, try to get mentors, and so on and on and on. So I'm not saying don't work, and they may not work for you. It's always good to have to learn more. But what I realized is at the end, I was just exhausted. And there was really very, very little progress doing all that additional work. So that's my story, but I'm very interested on your story. So I would be curious if you can go to slido.com and enter this event code to tell me, when was the last time that you have been told that you need to be fixed? Maybe somebody has said, oh, if you look more assertive, or you dress somewhere else. So I'm very curious, if you can please go and vote.
Already pasted the link here in the chat for everyone to see. So you can go to slido.com and then add the code that is provided here. And please, let's see.
Okay, I begin to see one person that replied more than 6 months ago. Okay, but we begin to have people that are telling me, oh, between 1 and 6 months. Last month, we have somebody. Anybody else wants to enter in the poll?
It's anonymous, so I don't feel like it's any pressure.
Absolutely. This is a very good point, Linda. No tracking. Okay. So far we have 33% of you that say last month, 44% that says between 1 and 6 months ago, and then we have 22% more than 6 months ago. So as we can see, at least I don't feel alone. That doesn't help too much, but as I see, hopefully you get now where I'm coming. When I began to exchange with other women, and compare notes. So what I then realized was that actually it was just not about fixing Patricia. A lot of other women and were experimenting this idea that, everybody was telling them to fix this or fix that. Always the problem were there. So then I uncovered that actually the problem is rooted in 3 key pillars in which tech stands. The first one is this idea of meritocracy. Every time we see women or other groups that are not in power in tech, we said, while we are not getting to the top, basically we receive but we are meritocratic. So basically, how can you fix a system that considers itself virtuous? The second was patriarchy. And you could see it when we go back, now we hear a lot of, oh, women, they don't like STEM, they don't like computers. But actually, if we go back to the last century, we see that women were the programmers. We were there. And men, we were doing the hardware until programming appeared to be pretty cool. So then suddenly, men started to do the programming and magically pushing the women out. Not only that, suddenly the jobs that were not very well paid became very, very well paid. So this structure of if a work is really valuable, should be done by a man and should be paid well. Whereas if a job, is considered not very valuable, then it's a woman's work. And finally, exceptionalism. What I mean with that, if you see, when we look at how companies sell food or sell medicines, for example, we have very strict controls. People cannot just do some cake at their home and then sell it into a supermarket. It needs a lot of different controls. That's not with tech. You have plenty of apps that tell us they will fix us, and there is no proof at all. But in tech, we all believe that actually tech is not like the others, so the rules don't apply to us. So now back to you again. I would like to know now which of the which pillars really resonate with you, with your experience at work. Is meritocracy, this talk about, every time you ask for something, to say, oh, but, we are meritocratic, is about patriarchy, or is even with exceptionalism as well? I think you should be able to, do either the three. Okay, we see here already people voting. Thanks a lot.
Wait, I have to vote as well.
Okay, absolutely, Linda. I'm counting on you. Okay, meritocracy is going strong. Okay, I'm giving you a little bit more time. Okay, patriarchy, I think is a little bit of, I can see, that this resonates with other people here in the call. Okay, so meritocracy goes to, of course, is more than 100% because you could even vote the three. So what we have now is meritocracy 63%, patriarchy 63%, and exceptionalism 38%. So I don't know if to say I'm glad that this resonates with you or the opposite. I'm sad. I would have loved that you all tell me, Patricia, you are just making this up, but it is clear I'm not. And if you want to know a little bit more about what I think, actually, a couple of weeks ago, I developed this in an article for an economics magazine, because for them was really very interested to think about tech in another way. So I'd love for you to read it. It's a short read, and provide feedback. So now I think that some of you or all of you will agree that basically we are living in an environment that was not designed for us. And we really need support and strategies and tactics to keep our sanity in that world. Okay, so again, this is not the magic tool, the magic bullet. Is a set of tools, and that, hopefully some of them will resonate. So the first one is the communities. I'll be honest, during a lot of my career, I was so focused in leadership that I was, with this mindset, I have to do it alone. I need to prove myself. And only in the last years, I really rediscovered communities. Communities is not the same that networking. I'm not saying you have to decide, but I think it's so important to have a community that supports you and challenge you at the same time. And there is, again, no magic bullet. I invite you to actually be, look at different aspects of your life with communities. Can be volunteering, can be within your industry, your company, other support groups, and it can either be very local to global. So that doesn't mean you have to go and tick all the boxes, but I invite you to be strategic and maybe complement your networking, because now there are a lot of face-to-face as well, hybrid as well as virtual communities. So I will encourage you to try to look for this, for a supporting community that helps you keep your sanity. The other one, and it's a little bit related, is the my overachiever mindset. I had really to change it to an asking for help mindset. Again, I I'm I self-identify as a woman in a STEM career in a male-dominated environment, an immigrant, and I was always this had I was raised like I needed to, if the bar was 10, I had to do 11. And actually, this is very tiring. And when you look at men ask for help all the time. So that doesn't mean that suddenly we look weak. But I'll challenge you to think, if you believe you come across as weak, how you feel when you help somebody else. Actually, that helps you to create connection. So I encourage you to really balance between wanted to achieve as well as said, okay, I do need help for my next step. The next one is regarding to mentoring. I had fantastic mentors, and I still have mentors that are great. But I think as well that sometimes I see now a lot of women collecting mentors everywhere, and they know you for 5 minutes. It's like, do you want to be my mentor? And I want to share with you that sometimes we can get most out of people when we focus more in the help we need. A mentor can be great to have somebody in which with whom you share experiences, but sometimes you just need answer to one question. You don't need a mentor for that. For example, 3 months ago, a woman reached out to me in LinkedIn, and she told me, Patricia, I'm actually thinking about switching to customer support, and I would like to, check my assumptions about the profession. Can we have, a virtual coffee for 30 minutes? And, she didn't want mentoring. She just wanted answer to one question. We had the 30 minutes. And then she moved on. She says, oh, thank you. Now I realize this is not what I wanted, doesn't align, but it has been great. And that's all. So I encourage you to, not put everything on the basket of mentoring. The other one is about the to give you the space to letting go. I've guilty myself sometimes to think when the environment is not right for you, that we need to keep banging on it. That if we demonstrate our manager how good we are, even if they don't realize, maybe in a year, in 2 years, sometimes it's gonna change. In my experience, changing somebody is very difficult. So I'm not saying it's not worth a try, but at some point, and I've done it quite dramatically, even during my PhD, it's good to say, this environment is not healthy, and this is not going to change, and it's time to let go. And the fifth one is, again, letting go of the perfection and embracing the good enough. Coming with the theme of overachieving, I think, at least in my case, I was when I went to the school. I always was praised as being perfect. This is what all of us, all the girls there, we were asked. We needed to look. We needed to, to perform within a sphere of perfection. And what I've realized is perfection is low as that. It can be good for certain things, but most of the time, good enough is good enough. And perfection can take us a huge toll in terms of time and energy. Okay, so far, and I'm not going here to put a poll, but I'm curious if you can put in the chat if there are any of those strategies that I mentioned that you already use. So if you can help me there, Linda, I would be very curious if those in the chat, if all the participants, you can put, if there is anything here that you already use. You rely on communities, they proactively asking for help, using coffee chats rather than mentoring all the time, letting go when you realize that this is it, things are not going to change, and moving from perfection to good enough.
I will ask honestly people to jump off mute and on camera to discuss this, because I think this is so great and people are already commenting on that. I really like the approach, like you said, about the communities and networking not being the same thing, because I have experienced it personally, like how the community actually supported me and lifted me and armed me with tools I needed to grow. And also like letting go, because you mentioned it very well. We are all like high achievers and we have so great expectations of ourselves that when these expectations are not met, we feel less. And I wouldn't say like good enough. I would say, we're average, and that's fine. That's fine. That's okay. It is okay. Like for me, I have accepted it. I'm like, I'm not gonna be the next Steve Jobs or whatever, and that's fine. Let somebody else be. Because great power comes with great responsibility. So yeah, kind of being well, and I think people are already responding. I'm gonna read them through.
Yeah.
From Kadia, she says, once I show that I can't do the work I'm here for, other people stand up for me more. Great. That's amazing. And Linson said, I'm recently finding my communities, and it's amazing. I know, Lindsay, I've been there as well. And Fanny, she says, volunteering to get to know different people and understand what else is out there. Also finding my community, and I totally agree. Volunteering in some aspects that they are like interesting in you. It's great to bond with like-minded people that you might find like peers and friends, and do something that gives meaning to you. And Jantine, she says, working on it. I'm starting to seek out communities. Come to me. I have plenty of communities to share. And Lisa said like she's a combination of asking for help and going for good enough. I try to make a start, but not to finish everything perfectly before asking for help. And Kadia says she also working on founding communities. I totally understand, and thank you for being so transparent and vulnerable with us. It's something that I really like what you said also, Patricia, about letting go some things, because sometimes we're just holding on doing stuff. Like I've tried in my career to do things that I thought they are going to be the thing, the dream job or whatever, but then I had to realize I had to let go. So other things open up. And Mary, she also says, walked away from an environment that appreciated my major contribution, but did not promote me to the level that I only meant. Yes, I have been in the position of higher levels in other environments and decided enough was enough. And I was taking the summer off to figure out where I wanted to be. Good on you, Mary.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have still 5 more to go. And
Amazing. I'm so excited.
thank you so much for sharing. We are all learning in this journey. Okay. The other thing that for me, I have to say, it changed a lot. What I how I work is to get myself a coach. I have to say that, years ago when I've heard about people saying, oh, I'm searching for a coach or I'm a coach, I was like, wow, another trend. And then about, 3 years ago, I read this article where, the person was saying, people like Serena Williams has a coach. So if she is fantastic and she needs a coach, so what I'm better than Serena. So that made me thinking, like, what about getting a coach? And a coach is not a mentor or a sponsor, okay? But it, to me, has been transformational to have a coach because I realized, that I was, we all have limiting beliefs. And has really helped me. I'm a work in progress, but she has helped me really to peel the onion and see, the limiting beliefs I had. So I really encourage you to explore having a coach now or later. And there is, a good coach should actually give you at least 30 minutes for free to test, if you can work with them together. So you don't need to have an executive coach if you are not an executive. And there are, coaches for different areas, but I regret really not having a coach a lot earlier in my career. The next one is that I've always assumed everybody knew what I was doing. Everybody were telepaths. So I've worked very, very hard and then suddenly be surprised why I was not in the promotion pool or why, my manager at the time, I've had quite a lot of managers in different countries. I was like, wow, I worked so hard and my manager disregarded. But actually, it takes work. It's like social media. You can write a lot of articles, but if you don't spend time in social media sharing them, then you don't have as much impact. So with what you do, it needs to be the same. And a good way to do it is you can have a wins folder. And what I do is in my I have in my email, I have a folder that are my wins. And when I have some a great customer feedback or a colleague or something I finish, it goes to the wins folder. So I encourage you something very, low energy. If you want to write it or have a notebook, that's perfect. But even collecting emails, and worst case scenario is always good. If you have a bad day, you just go through your wins folder, and believe me, I can guarantee you that will help with your mood. The next one is moving from negotiation to exploration. The way I was educated, negotiation looks something very oppositional. It's like you go at war with what you believe, and then you fight against the other person, and you try to convince them, and all that. And it was even exhausting, to think about it. And now are more into shifting it as an exploration. So when I need to negotiate, I just go like, okay, imagine I go into a trip somewhere where I don't know. So of course you read a little bit, you prepare, you try to know where is the place you are going, but I go with curiosity. So I find that going with my exploration hat rather than my negotiation hat, it actually usually delivers better outcomes, and also I feel much better. The other thing is moving from resulting to actually understanding that luck is very important. What is resulting? Resulting comes from the fact that, of course, in hindsight, we are all more intelligent. We come out of that meeting and we said, oh, why I said that? Or something didn't work as planned. Oh, I should have done this. Or why, and of course, once the things have happened, it's very easy to find the cause and what we should have done or we didn't do. But the reality is luck is maybe a 50% contributor, or sometimes even more, of how things go. Maybe that day was not your best day, or maybe your colleague just, randomly or not randomly got that opportunity. So luck is very, very important. And I think it to me has helped me, to really analyze better the outcomes, the lessons learned. Yes, there are some things I could have done better, but sometimes it's good as well. It's luck, it's bad luck. And I think to have that extra lens helps to have a better view. So remember, when people talks to, don't try to, here I was joking a little bit about, this kind of trying to explain everything like it was a Chinese cookie, to think that everything can be explained. Sometimes it can't. It's luck. And finally, we have a lot of talk now about confidence, self-confidence, and a lot of programs all around confidence. In my experience, our confidence fluctuates. It fluctuates because sometimes we don't know enough, and sometimes we have a great day, and we can. We cannot foresee the future. So as I see confidence is more, rather than I have confidence or I don't have, I try to see it as what is my degree of confidence. Okay, is my confidence 90% or is my confidence 60%? Okay, rather than is one way or the other. And what I think one of the things that this pandemic has shown us is that, we talk about confidence, but do you really think our governments, they were 100% confident in what they were doing? No. And if they were 100% confident, then there was a problem there, because Nobody had that experience before. However, the reality is that at some point you have to say, okay, is 70% of confidence, can I live with this? And have the courage to act. And what it has through managing, big projects like mergers and acquisitions, I learned is that we cannot over rely in confidence, because even, CEOs, you think that when they, do a merger, or when they, for example, lay off thousands of people, they are 100% sure. No, they aren't, because they cannot see the future. But it's about the degree of confidence and the courage to act. Okay, so believe me, it does have the rewards to go with courage. And then a last poll. I would love to know which strategies really resonated with you. I really value your input. And again, you can take as many as you want, but I will be very curious again. You don't need to adopt all of them or even none of them, are like tools in your toolkit. And I love to learn, which ones, you think are valuable. So the poll is open.
I am very, very excited for this one.
Okay.
And people, if are new people who have joined us, please know that this poll is anonymous. I have pasted the link in the chat and the code that you can use, and you can just paste the code to the Slido, and then you can just vote there.
Yeah. The wins folder appears to be a winner. 100%. I'm so glad, because it's just so easy, believe me.
Yeah.
The communities also, as some of you said, and I think, again, it does pay off, because we do need support. We need support to thrive in an environment that has not been created for us. Okay, so we have the wins folder with 100%. Everybody like it, so I'm very glad. The communities with 70%, and then we have good enough and exploration. That go with. I'm here multitasking, as you can see, and yeah. The courage also resonated a lot with you. Exploration and good enough with 50%. And then the one of getting a coach, it only resonates for one person. Okay? So still, as you can see, again, I'm not patronizing you. I'm not saying you need to even do one of them. Okay? Only keep them in your folder if you want, and hopefully, maybe at some point they will be useful for you. So at this point, I think I would love for you to tell me, and we can chat later. Think about something you can implement now, or something you will stop doing, as an action item. Sometimes it's just good. Otherwise, you have spent here 45 minutes. So think about something you want to experiment, or you want just to stop doing. Okay? So I'm now, as I said, I love for you to take an action item and do some, commitment on the chat. Are you doing any commitment, Linda?
So I would say let's do it. Yes, definitely. I would say honestly, this has helped me so much personally, and that's why I would pass this information. I have a journal when I say I'm gonna do one thing and I'm gonna commit to myself to do it, and one thing I'm gonna stop doing it. So I'm committing and I would like everybody else who would like to come and jump through. I'm committing that I am going to do more of letting go for
Oh,
sure. I'm going letting go for sure, and I am going to ask also for help because I'm that person who does everything by herself, and I'm gonna do these things, and I'm actually stop doing. I'm just gonna stop believing in luck personally. So that's a fact that I'm gonna stop wishing for stuff, but rather going for it. And let's see what we have here. Like Brenda says that definitely will try to win folders.
okay, glad, Brenda. And I'm sure it's going to be I know Brenda, and I'm sure it's going to be so thick, that folder.
Yes, gratitude, because sometimes we forget all of our wins, and I would like us all here today to remind ourselves that we have actually done things correctly in the past and worked. So we have to remind ourselves. And then Lindsay as well said that they win folders. Yes, yes, I support that as well. Feel free, anyone, to share like what's gonna be for you. I would suggest honestly having post-its on your desk or like on your computer and just reminding yourself every day that hey, everything is gonna be fine. I have done things nice in the past. Mary says we'll try the win folder as well and also focus on exploration over negotiation. Yeah.
Okay. So before we get to the Q&A, I want to share some takeaways. The first one is that I want, you know, us to think that yes, there are things we can improve, but there are also systemic biases in tech. And we need to be aware, as some of you share, meritocracy, patriarchy, exceptionalism are not the only ones. So I think it is important that we don't think that we see things in context. It's not about fixing ourselves and just removing what is our strongest identity just to fit. Okay. The other thing is leverage. Uh, Especially the power of communities, the power of others asking for help, because we do need support, and it's hard. And I think that I personally have found so much encouragement from I belong to different communities, and I have to say I have always had incredible feedback for myself, but also networking, open to opportunities. So I really encourage you to give it a try. And finally, this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So that means, I share with you these 10 tactics and strategies. You can experiment with them, and if you don't like them, it's like the win folder. If you always forget, okay, maybe it's not working for you, it looked like a good idea. Just move on, let it go. Okay, so I love to continue this conversation. I'm quite active in LinkedIn. I'm less in Twitter and Instagram, but I love definitively connect with you about this topic or anything else. And if you want a copy of the deck, please connect with me. And I love at this point I'll stop sharing, and I'll happy to actually continue if you have questions. Thank you for being such a great audience.
Yes.
Participating like that is really fantastic.
Thank you for being an amazing instructor as well, Patricia. This was so pleasant, and actually, I feel way much better after this event. Yeah, I thank you so much. Yes, in fact, I'm going to share the recording. Please, everyone, feel free to ask any questions. Like, I have like one question, Patricia.
Yes.
Like, what are the from what you shared today? What do you like to practice the most, and how you have reached that point, how you have realized, okay, this is the tactic I'm going to use the most, and this is why it works for me.
I think that I don't ask enough for help, to be honest, because I think it's it's like ingrained, and I always think, I need to to work hard. I can, otherwise people are going to think I'm weak. So I need to keep reminding me. This is not like you just think, oh, I let go, or oh, I ask for help. It needs to be a reminder every time. And what I've realized is when I've asked for help, which needs to be realistically very crisp. Okay, say, can you I'm looking for a person that does that. For example, yesterday, I'm very to give you an example, I'm part of a large community of women working in tech that is called ADA's List. And I thought, I'm very keen on assistive in accessibility in software. And somebody said, Patricia, I need that for our company. And I thought, oh, what I'm going to do, where I'm going to get those. So I just posted to the community yesterday, and I said, I can maybe spend days doing it in Google. I just post, community, I need help. Do you have recommendations of companies looking at accessibility? And in less than 24 hours, I had 7 links of recommendations. So, this is why I tell you, I really invite you to even combine asking for help with your communities. And if you still feel, asking for help, what they are gonna think about me. I invite you to think how you feel when somebody asks you for help.
Exactly. I like how you phrase it, because asking for help, doesn't mean that we are weak, doesn't mean that we don't know the answers. I think it's wiser to ask for help rather than doing something that is not going to help you or going to serve you. And yeah, I think Lindsay and I had the same question to ask you. And I think Mary, she's saying, I find that I need to be more knowledgeable on the subject before I ask the question. I need to be able to display my knowledge and just ask for the area that I do not know. Yes, it's like, as we said, asking the question, asking for help. I think it's the honor thing to do at the other hand, because you said it, Patricia. When somebody asks us for help, how do we feel? Do we feel that this person is annoying us, or we feel so honored to be perceived as someone who knows things and is able to share the knowledge away?
Exactly. And Lindsay, she talks about the biggest difference for me. I would say, if I have to be honest, letting go has made tremendous difference with me, because I think, especially, I've seen it in other women as well, that we want to fix the workplace, and I've had several times in my life where I said, if I do that differently, if I smile more, if I look more helpful, and because I didn't want to let go, I said, I've worked so hard. And what I've realized is, at some point it has been like, Patricia, this is it. You can, just move on, search for your next opportunity. Or even in our relationships, sometimes we have relationships where we, even unconsciously, we want to fix the person, we want to change the person, and say, if I do this, the person is going to change, they are going to love me more, or they are going, to recognize finally. And I think for me, that has been, Lindsay, it's hard. For me, it's been hard, but it's been very rewarding, because each time I said, you actually should have done let go earlier. I hope that helps.
Yes, yeah, it's also the letting go. Yes, it is like thank you so much, everyone. I really love that approach as well. It's like I heard it like from the uh, Eastern philosophy of Taoism. They say Wu Wei, which like is the art of effortless living, like letting go. It doesn't mean that you're stop trying. It means that you feel confident on your own self and you're able to let go. Like to delegate with tasks as well. People, they're just holding on to their things and they don't let go of stuff that can be done by other people, and then they get overwhelmed. So letting go, it's not, as I said, like a sign of any kind of not having in control of not knowing doing things. It's actually is the opposite. Would you say, Patricia?
Uh, I'm not sure. Okay, I think, yeah, I would have to think about it.
Yeah, it's a more complicated.
Yeah, I think, again, for me, I don't want to be prescriptive, because I think women, a lot of women I know, me inclusive, I'm fed up of being patronized.
Mm-hmm.
That people tell me you should do that.
Yeah.
What I would love for all of you is to approach this with a little bit of curiosity and see if it resonates with your story. And because I think I have so many books I purchased years ago when I was trying to fixing myself, where oh, because this woman, she has the perfect life. If I just do what she says, then I will have that aspirational life. Of course, what that person wants to sell. So for me, what I really would like to share is that you know you, that is important to get that support, and these are our tools. And if they don't work for you, that's good too. Okay, we have different experiences, and if those you try them and they don't resonate, hopefully there will be something else that resonates.
Yeah, yeah. And if anyone like doesn't have any other questions at this point, like what are the the takeaway quote that you would like to leave us with, Patricia? Like after this beautiful session that we had together and all this amazing information that you shared and the tools and the strategies, like what is like the one thing that you like us to keep in mind, knowing that we have met you here in this session?
um I think I will go back to the title and say, it's not you, it's the system. I think if you are in this call, you are a smart person, and I'm sure you have tried things, and trust yourself, because you know about you and your path. And again, the system is not it is not working for us. So try to what I will try really to to transmit is that let let yourself consider that you don't need to be fixed. Okay, that the problem is tech, and it's going to take quite a lot of our effort to make it right. But in the meantime, we need to take care of ourselves. So take care of yourself, and keep your sanity.
I really needed that advice today. more than ever. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. As you said, let's keep ourselves safe and healthy and mentally healthy as well, because as we said, like if we're not all right, nothing is gonna be all right. And yeah, that's it. So
Okay. Thank you very much, Linda.
thank you so
Uh,
much.
and thank you to all the participants. It's been really fantastic to have such an audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you as well so much. And I hope in the future we can do another one together because I am going to come back at some point. So thank you and have an awesome afternoon, everybody, or day.
Take care.
Bye bye.